Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast. Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Scott Lippert. Scott Lippert, president of Artisan Technology Group, is a native from Kansas City and a proud University of Missouri alumni. A pure entrepreneur at heart, Scott has had many business home runs. Currently, his company, Artisan Technology Group, is dominating the Kansas City market as they are quickly becoming the number one tech solution company in the Midwest. Before he invested in Artisan Technology Group, he was the managing partner at Balance Point, a quick-scaling IT recruiting company. Balance Point was named number 1836 of the Inc. 5000 list and won numerous awards, including America's fastest-growing private companies and top small company workplace finalist. Well, good afternoon, Scott. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Brian.
Great to have you, Scott.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
This is great. I love these podcasts. I get to not only reach out to colleagues I've worked with over the years like yourself. These are fun, and people like to hear what, professionals are doing out there today. So to that point, like I said, I've known you a lot of years, and it seems like you're always looking to do that next bigger deal, right? You've just got that entrepreneur in your blood. Can you give our audience what inspires you to continue to push that envelope and expand your vision?
Gosh, it's kind of built into me. My father is entrepreneur-ish, I should say, or not even ish. He's a self-proclaimed deal junkie. He's been doing deals his whole life, so I kind of been brought up in that. And I think I have some of my father in me. Some of his blood is definitely pumping through my veins. So it's pretty natural for me just growing up, being around that.
That's awesome. I know a lot of people, typically on my podcast here on this show, The Digital Executive, we have a lot of people that, in fact, most of the people have typically found something that inspired them maybe once, maybe twice. But in your case, since I've known you, you've just been an entrepreneur. So it looks like your dad has kind of showed you the ropes and you've gone quite far in that. So that's amazing. And I appreciate you sharing that part of it. Scott, so tell us a little bit about your new organization. Like I said, you've had several in the past that were successful. Artisan Technology Group. And why did you form this new venture?
Well, Artisan Technology, actually, I'm not the founder. I actually owned an IT staffing firm, and I saw that space changing in the last 2 or 3 years. And I saw a big gap here in Kansas City where there was really no true partner in software development that medium to enterprise-sized companies could go to get good quality software built. Those companies were going to Chicago, New York, LA, your big four consulting firms like Deloitte, Ernst & Young, Accenture. I just saw a huge hole if I could find some smaller boutique shops here in Kansas City that do really, really quality work, and we could roll up some companies and kind of fill in that void. So Kansas City, and not only Kansas City, soon to be the Midwest, could have a true partner when it comes to software development in web, mobile, back-end, all cloud enabled. So AWS, Azure, and we do have some Google clients as well. So just saw that void and wanted to make a pivot. Like I said, that staffing in the IT staffing space, a lot of our clients started bringing recruiting internal, the vendor management system started coming in place, and we started losing some footing, and it was harder for me to scale that business. And I just saw a huge hole here in Kansas City and possibly in the Midwest, and kind of took advantage of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think you had some vision there, obviously, you and Mike, to launch this because, as you know, LinkedIn especially is one of the things that broke, I think, the recruiters market, right?
Yeah.
With the LinkedIn tools now, with that subscription, you can do quite a bit. And I think it really did put the squeeze on people that were in the staffing business. So great job on that. I'm glad you shared that story. So Scott, moving forward for 2020, what are your goals? Any new changes? I know you're still a fairly new company. Any new changes, plans, or service you plan to launch this year?
Well, we continue to build out our software development capabilities, not only here in Kansas City, but we're looking to eventually move to other markets as well. So, everybody can be looking for that. We are starting to look more in our backyard, the Des Moines, the Omahas, the Wichitas, but then also we're starting to get some traction in larger companies, St. Louis, Denver, possibly Minneapolis, and then work our way to Texas. We would really like to, really perfect what we're doing here in Kansas City, and then start bringing it to other markets. Also, what we're doing, we're looking to build out some internal products, all in the developer tool and the cloud infrastructure space. tools in that space. And we also are spinning up a tech fund in that space as well. So a tech fund around developer tools and infrastructure, cloud infrastructures. Those are all pretty new that we just started. Actually, the fund that we spun up, we just brought on our two first portfolio companies that we're pretty excited about. So far in 2020, that's been off to a good start, and we're right in the middle of looking at some internal products. There's three right now that we're debating over which one to go forward with first. We're doing all those things on top of growing our services, our software development capabilities. So it's all pretty exciting. Right now, if you look at our mix of business, it's 95% services, all in software development. As you're going to see towards the end of this year, going into 2021, you'll start seeing us spinning up products. You'll start seeing us spin up more companies in our portfolio. So eventually we'd like to get to possibly a 50-50 mix. We'll always want to grow out our services business because it plays hand in hand with the products and the fund that we want to spin up. Definitely we're not there yet.
Very cool. I like your idea of a diversification in your business. I think that's great, not only in the way you're expanding geographically, but also in launching this tech fund and other software services. That's pretty amazing. And I'm definitely going to have to circle back with you in 6 months and see how things are going for sure. Thanks for sharing that.
We're pretty excited. Yeah, we're excited.
That's awesome. So this is kind of, I would say, timely. As how has the pandemic quarantine affected your business? And maybe it hasn't, but what are you doing to overcome any challenges?
It has had an effect. It kind of leveled us out. Going into the pandemic, we were winning a lot of business. We are winning some currently, but not on the same scale. Seems like it's hard to come up. It's a little harder with net new projects, but we're winning business with our current clients. We have a lot of clients in the healthcare, insurance, engineering space, which are all pretty essential. So we've been hanging there pretty good. Those projects, knock on wood, are going forward, and we're actually adding a little bit to some of our clients and winning a little bit of net new, but not to the same extent that we were going into COVID. Right now, since we kind of leveled out a little bit and there's not a lot of net new, what we're doing, we're focusing on marketing, R&D, and operational efficiencies are kind of the things that we're looking to get better at. And hopefully we'll be ready to pounce once things start opening back up and we get to some kind of normal here in the near future.
Yeah, trying to keep tab on the news. Of course, much of the news these days is negative and about the doom and gloom, but there is talks. Obviously, some states are starting to slowly open up, which, I hope is a good sign because we really need to turn the economy around now. And I hope that your business starts to see that pick up. We all need to see that for sure. Can you share something from your entrepreneurial experience that would be helpful for other tech startups or entrepreneurs? A piece of advice or a nugget?
If I had to give other entrepreneurs and other business owners or people looking to start one, just surround yourself with good people. One person doesn't have all the skill sets needed to run and spin up companies. Surround yourself with people that have the same vision, but different skill sets. And, hopefully surround yourself with good people, good at the heart, and smart people that are smarter and really good at what they do. And I'd also practice patience. Sometimes, if you're not patient enough, you can run into things that can kind of, throw you off your path. It's sometimes just, I know a lot of people, including myself, are not wired that way, but it's sometimes just good to sit back and let things take shape instead of running down rabbit holes. Or every shiny object. To sit back and kind of have some levity, about things is, or most of the time, probably the best approach. So those would be just a couple things that I would tell an entrepreneur that's just trying to start their business or work their way up.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Scott. I appreciate that. I know that a lot of folks in the audience, many of them entrepreneurs, are always looking for that little bit, that nugget, that piece of advice that, will help them grow in their business. So I appreciate you sharing that. So Scott, I just want to personally thank you today. It was a pleasure having you on the show, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Yeah, I would love to come on your show again. Loved the questioning, and I always love spending time with you, and hopefully the people that are going to listen to this podcast get some value out of it.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Scott, and bye for now.